So a lot of people are asking why giving teachers guns would be smart. And I think they're grossly mistaking what the statement is actually being made. Whenever you say arm teachers, it's not like every teacher has to have a gun. Um, I was in the military, and there was certain things that you had to learn just being in the military, like basic weapons training. The M9 and the M500 shotgun and basic training. And then whenever you get out to a ship, they actually train you on the weapons themselves and qualify you. So that is not mandatory for everybody in the Navy. I was an electrician, so I chose to do security reaction force. So they sent me through training. It was separate from my normal job because normally I just did electrical things on a ship. And so for 2 weeks, they actually trained me on security training. And then I went back to the ship and I kept doing my normal job. But if anything ever happened, I could be called to man a gun. Not actually man a gun. Like, I would go to an armory and they would give us either an M9 pistol or an M16 rifle or an M4 rifle, and then we would go out and find the threat and take care of it. And luckily I never actually had to do that, and I was an engineer, so it wasn't my typical thing to do. So I only ran one drill with them, and it was just because they actually needed me. They needed me for the drill because, everybody else died, So it's funny, actually, now that I think about it, too, because I was not a typical normal member of the team, I was just somebody who had training in it, and during one of their inspections for training for security reaction force, the terrorist actually managed to take out one of the full teams, and then most of the other team. There was only 2 teams running, so they ended up asking me to check out a weapon because I'm qualified, and me and one other guy found the threat and took him out. So the one guy that they didn't even expect actually helped him out, and that's kind of what I mean for this. You don't arm every single teacher. That would be insane. You don't give somebody a gun who doesn't want a gun. You know what I mean? That just doesn't make any sense in the world. If you don't want a gun, don't carry one, because if you're carrying one, you're going to be uncomfortable. If you're uncomfortable, you're going to be unsafe, most likely, or you're not going to be very happy, or you might do something stupid. And so, yeah, if you want to carry a weapon, you should have that option. We're all grown-ups. There is concealed carry licenses, and people carry guns around all the time, and you don't even know it. You never know who has a gun on them, ever. You just don't think about it because you don't see a gun. And I open carried my gun, and so people would have a weird reaction because they're not used to seeing a gun in public. And so they would ask me, like, you can do that? And I'd inform them on open carry law in the states that I've been in. And the state that, I'm in right now, they have an open carry law. So yeah, I open carried my gun. It's easier. I didn't have the time to get a concealed carry permit at the time, so I just open carried it. And you're surrounded by guns. You don't realize it. People have them. It's not like everybody has a gun, but there is people with guns out there, and you just don't realize it. And that's the thing. In a school, a teacher can have a gun on them, and as long as they're concealing it, you wouldn't even know. I mean, if they're wearing a blazer, it would be so easy. think of an FBI agent. You really don't ever see their gun. You know, it's usually covered by a jacket. Or Secret Service, they carry weapons all the time, and it's concealed. Sometimes they do open carry the guns, and that's to present a hard target. You know, but I don't think presenting a hard target is exactly what you need to do yet. What you need to do is you just need to give them the opportunity to fight back. Say you had a school of 40 teachers, and 10% of the teachers were like, yeah, I'll take the class. That's 4 teachers. And the 4 teachers then know that they can count on each other to help in a situation like that. And they're actually now a team, believe it or not. And if they can organize and say, hey, if something happens, we need to have a plan of action. And so they create a plan of action between their team and how they're going to operate. And sometimes shit hits the fan and you really can't go according to plan. So they need to be comfortable with operating their firearms, making sure that they are safely and securely operating them, because 99% of the time they're never going to touch their gun. It's just going to be there. But that 1%, when someone walks through the door and they start shooting, a teacher can react, you know. First, I mean, you say they might get too scared or something. They're already there. What are they going to do? Run away? I mean, if you have a gun on you, you can shoot back, and it's instinctual. Like, whenever you put a gun on your hip, it's the statement saying that if something happens today, I can fight back. You know, it's not saying I'm gonna kill somebody. It's saying I have the opportunity to defend myself. And people are just freaking out about even suggesting about letting people do that, which a lot of teachers already have a concealed carry permit, and you just don't even know it, because it's not something unless you know the person, but really, like, you don't broadcast it. Hey, I have a concealed carry permit, you know, like, my name's Matt. And it's just one of those things that you're grossly misunderstanding it, because it's not like that at all. What you would end up having to do is, if you can come to the realization that we can never end mass shootings. It's impossible. And it's like saying that we're going to stop all rape or all murder is never going to, murder's never going to happen again. You can't say that. That's why we have police. That's why we have the military. That's why we have these organizations that their job is to ensure that people try not to, do that. But honestly, it's not a perfect system. Stuff happens. People are saying teachers shouldn't have to do that, and you're right. They shouldn't have to do that, but they should have the choice to do that. And if they decide to make that choice, even schools could try to incentivize it. Hey, here's a bonus. We'll give you $250 to take this class, and we'll give you a week or however long it takes to just do a sheriff's training course. There's a sheriff in Ohio who he started a program for teachers immediately after the Parkland incident, and 100 teachers immediately signed up. And in Ohio, as long as the school district allows it, teachers who have concealed carry permits can carry pistols in class. And that's the thing, is that makes so much sense. You don't ever try to make anyone do anything, because the more you try to make someone do something, the more they're going to fight back against you. But give them the option and let them think about it. And you might not like the idea right now of teachers carrying a gun. You might be a teacher and you don't like the idea of carrying a gun in school. Watch this happen. If they let teachers make the choice to do concealed carry, see how many of your coworkers end up doing it. And don't try to argue with them. Let them live their own lives. If they think that it's something that they should be able to do, then let them do it. They're not going to say that you have to carry a gun, so why can you say they can't? And just see how it is. It's going to be completely normal. The only difference is now they have a chance to defend themselves. After 9/11, pilots were mandated to start carrying pistols in the cockpit of the plane, and they needed to have their doors locked at all times during flight. That's a security measure, because people know that you can never stop a terrorist from taking over an airplane, but you can use actions to prevent it. And it's just one of those things. Like, even air marshals exist. Their entire life is just living concealed, and they're there to help make sure that nothing goes wrong on an airplane. So I'm not saying that teachers need to become cops. I had a concealed carry permit when I lived in Virginia. I just recently moved out to Washington, and I haven't gotten mine out here yet, but I will be getting it soon. And the thing is that it's a choice that I made. Nobody's making me do it. I want to do it. Give that choice to the teacher now, and it'll be amazing. It will at least give a shooter something to think about before they walk through a door. If you know that whenever you walk through that door, you might be encountered by more people with guns than you're probably not going to go in there, you know? And that's the thing, is like, you can make a huge statement by having armed security standing outside and doing gate checks and, vehicle checks even. Set up an ECP, an entry control point, and have your hard targets with your, Kevlar vest on, and your, it's just insane. You don't want to live in a militarized society like that, and neither do I. And that's why it's insane to even suggest that every single teacher should have a gun, but they should have the choice. And that's really what it all boils down to.